It took just less than 20 seconds. That's all. 20 seconds to type, 3 seconds to hit post, and less than 2 hours to completely change the direction of her life. The strange thing is that when Emily posted it, she wasn't angry. At least, not anymore. The anger had already passed. The argument was over. The tears had dried. The adrenaline was gone. Please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification because it helps us a lot. So, she was sitting alone in her apartment that night with a glass of wine beside her and her phone in her hand. And like millions of people do every single day, she decided to tell Facebook what had happened. Nothing seemed unusual about it. People posted about bad experiences all the time. Bad restaurants, bad dates, bad landlords, bad bosses, bad neighbors. Emily had seen thousands of posts just like it. Most people have. Someone gets frustrated, they tell their side of the story online, friends leave comments, people share opinions, life moves on. At least that's what Emily thought. What she didn't know was that her post would eventually cost her her job, drain her savings account, force her to sell her car, and place her in the center of a lawsuit that would consume nearly 2 years of her life. And it all started because of a dog. Not her dog, her neighbor's dog. The neighbor's name was Daniel Harper. Daniel was 39 years old and lived 2 houses down from Emily in a quiet subdivision outside the city. He wasn't particularly friendly. He wasn't particularly unfriendly either. Most neighbors barely knew him, the kind of person who waved politely and then disappeared inside. Daniel worked from home, kept mostly to himself, mowed his lawn every Saturday morning, and owned a large German shepherd named Titan. The dog was impossible to miss. The dog was huge, nearly 100 pounds. Dark fur, powerful build, a deep bark that could be heard halfway down the street. To some people, Titan looked intimidating. To Daniel, he was family. For years, there had been no issues, no complaints, no incidents, nothing. Until one afternoon in early spring. Emily had just returned home from work. She was carrying grocery bags from her car when she heard shouting. At first, she couldn't understand what was happening. Then she heard a child crying. The sound immediately caught her attention. Across the street, a young boy named Noah was standing on the sidewalk with tears streaming down his face. His bicycle lay on the ground beside him. Several neighbors were gathering nearby. Someone was yelling. Someone else was trying to calm people down. And standing several feet away was Titan, the German shepherd. The dog appeared agitated, pacing, barking, pulling against a leash. Emily couldn't see everything clearly. She was too far away. But she heard enough pieces of conversation to form a conclusion. The dog had scared the child was crying, people were upset. In the confusion, assumptions filled the gaps. Within minutes, rumors began spreading through the neighborhood. One person claimed Titan had attacked the boy. Another said the boy had bitten him. Someone else said the child needed stitches. Nobody seemed completely sure, yet everyone spoke with confidence. By that evening, the story had already evolved. What began as confusion became certainty. What began as questions became facts, at least in people's minds. Emily heard several versions of the story before dinner. By nightfall, she was convinced she knew exactly what had happened. She didn't, but she thought she did, and that's where the trouble began. Around 9:30 that night, Emily opened Facebook. She started typing. At first, it was only one sentence, then another, then another. The words came easily, maybe too easily. She wrote, "Parents in this neighborhood need to know that a dangerous dog attacked a child today. The owner has ignored complaints for years. Someone is going to get seriously hurt." She included Daniel's street. She included enough details that everyone knew exactly who she meant. Then she posted it. She felt good afterwards, like she was warning people, like she was protecting families, like she was doing the responsible thing. Within minutes, the reactions started arriving. Likes, comments, shares, angry emojis, people tagging friends, people tagging neighbors, people demanding action.
People repeating rumors they had heard from someone who heard them from someone else. The post exploded. By midnight, hundreds of people had seen it. The next morning, thousands had. Emily woke up feeling strangely satisfied. Her phone was flooded with notifications. People were thanking her, calling her brave, calling her responsible, calling her a hero for speaking up. For a brief moment, it felt wonderful. She had no idea that several miles away, Daniel Harper was staring at the same post in complete disbelief. Because according to Daniel, almost everything in it was false. The child had not been attacked. The child had not been bitten. Titan had never touched him. In fact, according to witnesses, Noah had crashed his bicycle after becoming frightened when Titan barked from behind a fence. The boy scraped his knee. That was it. No bite, no attack, no hospital, no stitches, nothing remotely close to what was now spreading across social media. And Daniel had documents to prove it. A medical report, witness statements, security camera footage, everything. At first, Daniel thought the misunderstanding would correct itself. Surely, once people learned the truth, the rumors would stop. Instead, the opposite happened. The story continued growing. More shares, more comments, more accusations. Soon, strangers were posting Daniel's address online. People began calling animal control. Others left threatening messages. Some demanded Titan be euthanized. Then, things became personal. Very personal. One morning, Daniel discovered someone had spray-painted his mailbox. A week later, someone damaged his fence. Then his employer received anonymous complaints. Suddenly, a neighborhood misunderstanding was affecting every aspect of his life, and it all traced back to one Facebook post. That's when Daniel stopped trying to defend himself online and started talking to a lawyer. Emily didn't know it yet, but while she was enjoying hundreds of supportive comments, screenshots of her post were already being collected as evidence. Every share, every edit, every comment, every accusation preserved, documented, time-stamped, waiting. The lawsuit would arrive 4 months later, and when it did, the first thing Emily said was the same thing countless people say every year. It was just a Facebook post. Unfortunately for her, the law didn't see it that way. Emily stared at the envelope for nearly a full minute before opening it. At first, she thought it was junk mail. Then she saw the law firm's name. Her stomach tightened. She opened it anyway. Inside was a complaint filed in civil court. Daniel Harper was suing her. The number at the bottom of the document immediately caught her attention: $450,000. She actually laughed, not because it was funny, because it seemed ridiculous, impossible, absurd. $450,000 over a Facebook post? There had to be some mistake. She called her best friend, Lauren. Lauren laughed too. Nobody gets $450,000 because of Facebook. That was the general opinion among everyone Emily knew. Her parents weren't worried. Her coworkers weren't worried. Even some of her Facebook supporters weren't worried. Most people assumed it would disappear. A scare tactic, a bluff, something lawyers did to intimidate people.
But Daniel wasn't bluffing, and his attorney wasn't playing games. Within days, Emily learned something she had never known before. Being sued doesn't feel like television. There are no dramatic courtroom speeches, no surprise witnesses bursting through doors, no dramatic music. It's much slower, much more exhausting, and much more expensive. The first lawyer she contacted wanted a $5,000 retainer just to begin reviewing the case. The second wanted $8,000. The third wanted even more. Emily couldn't believe what she was hearing. She hadn't even gone to court yet. She hadn't lost anything yet, and already thousands of dollars were disappearing. Still, she remained confident. After all, she believed she was right. She believed a child had been harmed. She believed she was warning people. She believed her intentions mattered. What she didn't understand was that intentions and facts are not always the same thing, and the law often cares deeply about the difference. The first real shock came during the discovery process. Until then, Emily thought the case revolved around a single Facebook post. It didn't. It revolved around everything connected to that post. Every comment, every reply, every private message, every screenshot, every conversation, everything. Her attorney explained that the opposing side would attempt to establish a timeline, not only what she posted, but what she knew before posting it. And that terrified her. Because if she was honest with herself, she had never actually seen Titan attack anyone. She had heard people talking. She had made assumptions. She had repeated those assumptions as facts. The distinction seemed small at the time. Now it felt enormous. Weeks later, she attended her deposition. She had never heard the word before this lawsuit. Now it was becoming one of the most stressful experiences of her life. A court reporter sat in the room. Lawyers sat across from her.